Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
Melissa, if I had a product, let's say that I'm selling cat toys. Or let's go with something in the kitchen. Let's say I'm selling a kitchen. Maybe I have a new French press coffee maker.
Okay.
What is a way that I could use Clubhouse to sell it or make a name for my brand?
So, I mean, I think it's very similar to other platforms that people are used to. If you're on Facebook, you go into Facebook groups. If you're on Clubhouse, go into the places where your target audience is. Also, by the way, just quickly, I'm sure that you are a huge fan of these guys too, Amy, but PickFu is where you should start to know who your target customer is, because even Febreze made the mistake of not targeting their correct customer and almost went out of business before they even took off. So make sure you know who your right customer is and the kinds of language that they respond well to. And then, make sure that you're doing that. So same thing, you can go into groups, you can create groups that, that they would want to jump into. And you can, even
for example, you could have a coffee lovers talk.
Yeah.
And you could you could start a coffee lovers chat. You could start a coffee lovers Facebook group. You could start any kind of, where you're talking with other coffee lovers and you're getting into all these different, like, oh man, French roast. What I love is the French press with French roast because it just brings out the flavor. And this is this other thing that I do, right? And you're talking with all these other people. And then you can say, a little bit about me when you're introducing yourself to the people. You can say, I actually have a brand of coffee products, and you can talk about it and say, I've been a coffee lover for so long, which is another reason why it's important to sell something that you believe in, like Melissa said earlier, right? It's important to do something that you believe in, because if I'm selling dog toys and I have never had a dog and I don't care about dogs, it's going to be really hard for me to connect with an audience. Right. You could always hire a sales team to do that, but nobody's going to sell your products better than you.
Yeah.
So you could start a room. All right. I like that idea. What else? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and even another way to think about this too is, what if you had a room that was not focused on coffee? So let's say you have like an email list and you tell your email list, hey, we're going to be doing a regular Clubhouse room, whatever. And an email list, by the way, is another really great tool for marketing. If people are not using that, you should absolutely be building lists. But you could let them know that this is a place where we meet and we talk about X, Y, or Z. And it could be any number of topics that you think would speak to your audience, but you could call the room like morning coffee with so-and-so. And you could have a range of topics and then say, what are you drinking today? I'm drinking this. I use this product is actually my product. I use my French press, whatever. And it doesn't have to be focused on your product. For the people who are not a huge fan of being salesy, there's so many ways of doing it that don't feel pushy. It's about giving people solutions they want. So if you're talking to the people who like that kind of thing and you give them a solution that's better than others, that's something they thank you for, not something they say, oh, it was just such a salesy room.
That reminds me of how Gary Vee, I just found out that Gary Vee sells wine. I had no idea. I'm following him for his personal brand, for the other things that he talks about. So it's really great that, we can connect with other human beings, and it doesn't always, our brand can be something that we do, and it can be our personal brand, and we can grow that. And, it really helps. So you mentioned email lists.
Yes.
Melissa, can we talk about the basics of an email list? Because I think, email is still very, very good. But as far as it goes, like, email to me is the best for your warm audience, right? Like, for that audience that gets to know you. So how do we're a brand new brand. We are launching our first product. We have zero emails on a list. Mm-hmm. How can we build an email list from scratch?
So you need something like a lead magnet. You need something that speaks to your audience, something that they would want to receive, something that you're giving away for free. So a really good idea is, if you create a room and you get your target audience in a room on Clubhouse, have a landing page or something like that where you can send them to, and they'll jump on there, they'll opt in for whatever it is that you're giving away for free, an ebook or something that's tangibly awesome that they actually want, and it might be like, I don't even know. Like there's some people who will sign up for, the word of the day club or something like that. So they get like random words from the dictionary, and it's silly, but it's fun. And so there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. You put a landing page in there so that you can easily say, while you're on Clubhouse, go to blah, blah, blah / this, and I'll give you this for free. And then they go to this, they've opted in. You should be using ClickFunnels or Kartra or something like that. I prefer Kartra because the functionality is spectacular. That's what we use for Empowery. And then that captures your leads. And you have an entire list now, and you can tag them. So that particular room or something like that you created, you might have a particular tag for that. So when you're emailing them, you can make it personal and say, you were in my room today. I'm so glad you joined us, blah, blah, blah. And you know where they came from, you know why they were there, and you know what to target them for. And when you do a different opt-in or a different lead magnet, you can make it applicable to that too.
So you could do that. I love that. And if you're not on Clubhouse, you could do that same thing with LinkedIn. You could go live on LinkedIn and say, hey, I got this. You could start doing YouTube. You could do a Facebook Live. You could do any kind of, and you don't even need to do a live, although lives are really, really effective. As Melissa mentioned, like her one live did so much better than anything else. And so, it's people really, they like to see a face. They like to be able to connect with you. So anywhere you go, you can have a lead magnet. I think the hardest thing for people is coming up with lead magnet ideas. Yeah. I know that is, I've had so many coaching calls about that. Like, what should I offer? Are people going to like this ebook? And a lot of times we get so many of these offers, we get so many of these lead magnets. One that I liked the other day that I saw in Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs group that I signed up for, she got my email. She posted this, it said, hey, I grew my business to, 6 figures. And I used by just posting in Facebook groups that allow me to post for free and allow me to promote myself. Would you like my list of leads? And yep, sure enough. And that happened to be a Facebook group that you could post in. But so she gave out a list of I think it was 30 different Facebook groups that you can post in. And she included the information for each one. And then also she had an upsell there. So she was selling how her Facebook posts that she used over the years that worked best for her. And so she had an upsell on there, and I'm sure she makes a lot of sales from that. So not only are you getting warmed up for her email list because she gave you something so valuable for free, but also you're also considering man, you look at the list of Facebook groups that she gave you, and it's pretty in-depth and it's pretty awesome. And you're like, wow, okay. So you can always put together something like that, but I think that's something people struggle with. And do you have any advice for people in terms of coming up with a good lead magnet?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's tough. And the reason why it's so tough for people is because there's no one list. Even on a podcast or something like this, we can't say, do this and it'll work for you. It depends on your audience. It depends on the type of business. It depends on what you're selling. So, and it also depends on what you know, right? If you're giving away something for free and it better be valuable, what do you know that other people want to know? Because generally it's information that people will sign up for. It's not usually, I guess you could send them something for free, but that's not economical.
What I love doing too is thinking of the equivalent of something that I have given up my email for. So we were just talking about this lead magnet that this girl did, where she gave a list of Facebook groups you can promote in. And then I was just thinking while you were talking, I thought, how could I send that to my audience of cat lovers? What do I know? What could I make a list of that might be valuable to them? Yeah. I know a bunch of Amazon sellers and where they post their products for free. I know where all the deals are. I can say, here's a list of my top favorite deal sites where you can get pet products for next to nothing. I can give that list out and people would probably give up their email for it. So if you can think of something valuable that you've gotten and you've been willing to give up your email for, and then you just know what you know because you have to market for your own business, you can kind of flip that around and come up with a really great lead magnet.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, what are things that you spend your time on that you need to know? Like you spent the time researching because that's valuable to other people too. So just like you were saying, Amy, one of the things is, let's say, people like to get coupons, and they like to, they'll sign up for emails and stuff like that to get notifications about, big, sales and stuff like that. So I know that there's a lot of people who do this on TikTok. They have followings because, they go and they research this stuff because they want to know what is on sale. They want to know, what the coupons are. And so they already are doing this work. And then they're getting an audience and a following because then they're recording that information. They're sending it out to the world. And so then here's another thing you could do. Let's say you don't do the research. You don't do your own coupon things. You just go to these people's TikTok. Well, do you have a list of the people you follow for this type of information? You could give that away. Make sure you're following this list of people, because then you have the most accurate information. Very quick, very simple, something you're already doing, but something other people would love to have access to. And that's a quick, easy way for an opt-in. It doesn't have to be so hard. That's very little work, very, very little work for that one, but that's something I would sign up for.
Yes.
Make sure I'm following all these people.
I love it. Yeah, I think it sometimes can seem hard because we don't want to put ourselves out there, right? We get nervous. We don't want to disappoint people. And when it comes to marketing, it's, you can't be afraid of the no's, right? You have to be able to take a couple of no's, but you also have to believe in yourself and believe in your products, because if you believe in the products that you're selling and you know that they're great products, there's nothing wrong with telling people about them. Yes. Right? They're going to make their life better. So, get behind it and just start getting out there. Start with 0, like Melissa brought up today. Start with just those free platforms. Just start getting the word out. That's so awesome. So what would you say, Melissa, is one of the biggest barriers to people doing just that?
So just starting or just getting out there?
Putting themselves out there.
I think it's fear. I think people get into, everyone says this, analysis paralysis. But I think when you break that down, what it really means is you believe that if you research enough, if you read enough books, if you do enough studying, then it won't seem as scary. It won't be as hard. But that will not change. That portion of it will not change until you've actually done it. Just like Andy did, every single day going live for 30 days until it wasn't scary anymore. And he didn't have to hype himself up. I will tell you, when I was first speaking in public and stuff like this, I had to get a prescription for like blood pressure medication. They give it into like tiny, tiny doses for public speaking to like get your heart rate down. It's like my heart's gonna beat out of my chest. I can't remember words right now. I got to get off this stage. So I had to actually like do that. So I don't need that anymore. And it's because I've done it enough. I've done it enough that it's not scary. I know that I don't have to know everything. If I go on a stage and somebody asks me something and I don't know, that's not terrifying anymore. It's something I'm excited to learn and then to share with them and follow up later.
Yeah, that's so good. That's such great advice. So we have reached the part in our show where we like to ask, you've already given a good book here, but we'd love to ask, what are your favorite books and podcasts? What are you reading? What are you listening to that motivates you and helps you in your business and your life?
Oh geez. I mean, there's a ton of books I could recommend. I have, I think 190 business books in my Audible account right now. And then when I really love a book, I get the hard copy as well as the audio. So for like negotiation, I like Getting to Yes. And I also like Never Split the Difference. Those are very, very, very
good books. Yeah.
For marketing, I like Contagious by Jonah Berger, Why Things Catch On. I like The Power of Habit by Jonah Duhigg or something Duhigg, Charles Duhigg. I could go on and on. I have so many. Also, Simon Sinek's books, Leaders Eat Last and Start With Why. Start With Why is probably one of my favorite. It's business related. It talks about, big businesses that started, with a mission, with a purpose that was beyond like I want to do this thing, or I have this concept or idea. It's more than that. It has to be more than that to you. So if you haven't sat down and figured out your why, that is key, because there's something visceral, elemental, I think, in the way that you function when you know your why. It changes everything, and it makes it so that it's okay. Like if work spills over, it's okay. Like all of a sudden you've got the answer. That's what it feels like when you know your why.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because if your why isn't strong enough, you're just going to procrastinate or you're going to quit. Quitting will be easy if you don't have a strong why. And so that's like fundamental to getting started. And, really reaching your deep why is so important. It has to be more than just, I want to make money. Because it's, you're going to make money and you're going to buy a car or something fancy and you're going to be like, okay, well, what next? So you really want to reach that deep why. So start with why. That sounds like a good book. I haven't read that yet, but love it. Okay. Well, very good. Well, finally tell everyone how they can get in contact with you. How can they connect? How can they get on board with Empowery?
So, easy enough. You can go to empowery.com and click the join button. That has information about what we do, why we do it, how it benefits you. And it has a button there so you can get started. If you go to empowery.com/contact, you can get in touch with me or the entire Empowery team. Whoever gets that first will respond. And if it's me you're looking for, then I would be happy to meet with you and set something up. So.
Yes. Well, I thank you. I always have fun talking to you. I think that it's just it's awesome. And Melissa also, I can't talk today, apparently. I think we're both struggling with that today, right? Yeah. Melissa also she has an Empowery club on Clubhouse. So you guys can join each week. I know tonight at 6 p.m. Central, they'll be on there. And then Melissa and I also have a Clubhouse collaboration Facebook group. So if you guys in the e-commerce community are wanting to get involved on Clubhouse and wanting to know what events we're running when, or you're hosting events or you're participating in events, you can always look for that. You can look for the Clubhouse collaboration Facebook group and join us in there. And we'd be happy to have you at any of the events. So much fun. And thank you, Melissa, for being here. And thanks everyone for listening. And we will see you next time on the Seller Roundtable.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. It was such a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.